Disclaimer, the original footage of the Night Elf rogue that MJ was playing has been corrupted and we had to upload something different. Please welcome the priest that she's playing instead. Welcome back. YouTube, land, world, whatever you want to say you are, land or world, we don't discriminate. I am the wonderful, awesome Robbie B coming at you back again with the lovely
MJ, that girl, that go cray.
And welcome back to WoW.
Wow. It's WoW.
Welcome. No, I'm just kidding. So, today, we are going to review the brand new World of Warcraft Shadowlands pre-patch starting area,
Exile'S Reach.
Now, before we want to get into this, I want to say thank you to the views that we have gotten and the subscribers. I think that's really awesome. I mean, yeah, 4 and 17, I think, at the time of recording this. But hey, it's something. Now, what can I say about Exile's Reach? That's what I have to say about it. I think I'm going to give this over to my lovely assistant here first because I'm going to have to really buckle down on my opinion here and not make it too harsh. So, what do you have to say, MJ?
All right. So, I think that the cinematics are really good. You start off by customizing your character and really just getting into that, of course, like how all the starting area goes. Once you go in, you're pretty much on this ship. It does a cinematic, and then, you go up to this person named Captain Garrick, which I will try to withhold my opinions of because, yeah.
I will not.
Did not like her very much. I just felt like she tried to handhold you too much. But then again, that's me, and I have played before, so it's what's the word?
Annoying as hell.
Yeah, pretty much. But so starting off, you're on a ship. You're going and you're fighting these dummies. You're doing all this stuff to get ready. All right, cool. Let's fast forward to that because that's kind of the boring part. And it's telling you what to do, explaining it. I'm like, okay, I already know how to do all these functions. Like, keep going. All right. Exile's Reach. Ship crashes. We end up on this island, right? So as we're... oh, by the way, I'm playing the Alliance side. I don't know how different the Horde side is, but I am doing the Alliance side.
I did the Horde, and I can tell you there's not much difference. Like, virtually none.
So, I am playing a rogue, and I am playing a night elf. So, I go... The first thing you have to do is talk to Captain Garrick, do all your stuff. That's great. One of the first quests you have to do is to kill Murlocs. And they're like, oh, Murlocs are these terrible creatures and blah, blah, blah. You don't want to piss off too much of them. It's scary. And I'm just like, okay. No need to hype up Murlocs that bad. I mean, they're annoying, that's for sure. I just wouldn't see them as these fierce enemies.
Well, to elaborate on her point with it, they're honestly Murloc light.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly feel like these aren't real Murlocs, because, like, when you're in Northshire Abbey, which would be the human starting area, they have a little river when you go to Elwyn Forest, and that's where the real Murlocs, are at. And those things swarm you, and they're annoying, and there's like 8, 9 of them on you sometimes. These, you point at them, and they don't attack until you attack. And it's real... It's kind of like, you have a safe place with us here. It's okay. Don't be scared. It's safe. These are diet Murlocs.
Anyway. So after the Murlocs, you gotta go get food for somebody. Or, well, heal people. Go get food for somebody. You're just going through all these pretty easy quests. You don't really have anything attacking you. And then, you finally get to where there's going to be something that actually attacks you if you walk past it. And it is the Quillboar. And they're like, be careful, guys. The Quillboar is way more strong and fierce and crazy and all that other good stuff than the Murloc. They're so dangerous. Hardcore. And I'm like, the Quillboar are, in my opinion.
Okay, so once you get to the Quillboar, you slaughter their leader, and
oh gosh,
it is what it is. It really is. I can't really describe to you the hand holding that happens even in the boss fight.
Yeah, so there's that, and then in the background, as you're trying to defeat all these enemies, you just hear, I'm too pretty to die. I'm too young to die. I'm too 50 times, I swear. So finally you save him, and he's like, oh, finally, I knew a lion would save me. Follow me. So you gotta follow him. Good thing, though. There's like 3 or 4 chests throughout this entire area.
Okay, all I was going to say was for the Horde, it's a little bit... This is one of the very few differences. It literally plays out exactly the same like she's describing it. You're on a ship, you're doing these quests, you're fighting Murlocs, you got to save the one lady from dying. You find your chests. The only difference is this part is the slightest bit different. So instead of a goblin, instead of a gnome, you get a goblin. And he is far less annoying. Like, I felt bad for her because I was hearing him on her computer, and I'm like, oh, no, make it stop. Make it stop. Please, let it stop.
He kept going, who is that making those noises in the background? Because even after you save him, after all that stuff, he keeps saying that on repeat. And so I'm like, can you not and pretend that you didn't? So then there's these giant there's these boars. You have to change one into a giant boar. And, my favorite one is the one that exploded, by the way. Anyway.
I will say to that, there's a difference there with the Horde, too. The Hordes is, the Goblin gives you the mechanism, and their original plan is to make it bigger. So, like, the first one, it shrinks. The second one, it blows up. And he goes, why do we want to have them grow if we can just do this? And I'm like, valid point. Why didn't you just do that? But the third one, they're like, actually, we're going to modify it, and we're going to make a blaster out of it.
And ours, we just, get the boar big, and then we go and trample all this stuff. And, just trample all these, whatever they are. Orcs, undead.
They were like ogres?
Ogres, something like that.
I didn't really care.
No. So you're like going through, you're trampling through these, you fight the boss, you save Captain Garrick's son, which he is as annoying as her. No, maybe a little less. I'll give it to him. At least he's not
Captain Garrick.
Yeah. I mean... She goes, of course you'll survive. You're my son. I raised you better. You knew we would come because I raised you to know.
For the Alliance?
With the Alliance, everything is possible. Boom. And it's like.
Lame.
All right. I mean, I'm enthusiastic about what I like, but I mean, that's just taking it a little bit overboard.
I honestly feel like this character could have been really cool. And that's the disappointing part.
Yeah.
With Captain, like, as soon as I saw that it was, they had a female captain in charge, I'm like, hey, cool, that's awesome. And then she spoke. And then I'm like, oh no. I just feel like the voice actress, though she didn't do a bad job, it was very mundane. And it was like the same repetitious voice over and over. And they used her voice clips throughout the campaign so much that by the end of it, at least from our point of view, everyone's experience is different, but from our point of view, she is by far the worst part of Exile's Reach.
Yeah.
That and the glitches that Blizzard needs to fix, but we'll cover that a little later.
So as I'm going through, I'm doing some more of the quest. There's a cave that it goes and takes you through. Actually, my favorite part is that you get to do something that your class would do. So, as a rogue, I got to create the potion poison for my knives and, get all that stuff and, poison someone because, that's always fun to do. And you just go through, you kill things. It's pretty normal WoW stuff. And then they turn you into an ogre. And you gotta wave and dance. It's the funniest dance I think I've ever seen. And you get all the other ogres to dance for a second. And Captain Garrick ruins it and goes, I think you're taking being an ogre a little too far. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not. I'm having fun. That's...
Yeah, that was all pretty much the same with the Horde. The only, again, difference, this time it's a difference in class. Mm-hmm. Mine being the undead warlock. I got to actually capture one of, I don't know if you want, a minion, I believe is what they classify it as. And you get to capture your Voidwalker, which I was like, this is like a deal with the devil kind of thing. I dig this. And I would only play Exile's Reach again just to see what the different quests is for the classes. Yeah. But once you are done being an ogre, you do this chain quest where you basically go through these like tunnel houses, catapult. Anyway, you destroy like these catapults and you beat a couple more bosses. And this is where I think our biggest dilemma here between her and I occurs. Because they give you the diet dungeon, as I put it.
This is, honestly, in my opinion, if you're starting off, you've never done a dungeon before, it's actually a really, really good place to start off. It takes you through a dungeon, and it has you go, and it tells you what to do. It has they have someone as a tank. They have a healer. You're going to do your role. Of course, you don't really get to choose. You mostly just have to be DPS. And so you're going through, you're doing all these things, you're killing it. And, they don't have as much for you. But if you're starting out, that's really nice to learn because you don't always have someone who's going to be there to tell you how to do a dungeon. I was lucky I had Robbie B and I had a really good dungeon group, to help me learn how to do that. But it's like, if I wouldn't have had him, at least, I would have had no idea what to do. And I would have probably, never wanted to do dungeons. And dungeons are actually one of my favorite parts of the game now. So... I feel like it's really cool that they actually gave you, a diet dungeon. Just because if you're new and you're trying to learn how to do all things WoW, why not learn how to do a dungeon? Why not, teach people how to do that? Especially because that's one of your best perks of the game.
My view on it. I get what she's saying, and I think if you are a new player and you are trying to experience, hey, what's dungeoning all about? They sometimes give you dungeon quests while, you're doing your normal leveling and questing, So, why not? Let's try this out for the first time. I think that it would be great for new players, and especially for what I think Blizzard's new expansion is going for. This is going to be really beneficial for them. But for me, playing World of Warcraft back in the day, a lot of things was trial by fire, and you learned how to dungeon through trial and error. And I really think that makes you a better dungeon player. I honestly feel like you having to learn it the hard way gives you a better, more enriching experience, in my opinion. Of course, that doesn't mean much because everyone's got opinions like everyone's got buttholes. But buttholes, but
Wow.
I'm 12. Anyway, but for reals, I think that it's beneficial for new players overall.
Yeah.
I think that diet dungeon, though I don't like it and I feel like it's hand-holdy, I do feel like it is nice for them to learn some of the mechanics. But something that also irks me about it is like, okay, well, if you're going to completely teach them how to do a dungeon, why not teach them how to do healing and tanking, even if it's minimized? Like, don't just stick with DPS, because what if someone's like, well, what's healing about? Well, that sucks for you now, doesn't it? Because we only taught you one thing. So the diet dungeon only works if you're a warlock or a hunter or rogue, like really DPS specialized classes, mage. Then yeah, that's the perfect thing for you. But if you're like, well, I want to try paladin, I want to try warrior, I want to try shaman, you know, then you're not gonna get the full feel of it because you're not learning the other two mechanics of the dungeon, and that really hurts it in my opinion. But I think we're gonna go over our pros, cons, and indifferences to summarize the video. I will start with the lovely MJ to give us the pros because I'm going to be the cynic here.
All right, so I definitely think the pros are if you're a new player, this is the perfect thing for you to start off with. If you're intermediate or advanced, or even in between all of those, my recommendation is to not play it because it may annoy the crap out of you. Another pro is the dungeon. Like I said, I think that's really, really, really a good thing for new beginners. Again, I'm talking about beginners. I'm saying you're a new player. You've never heard of World of Warcraft before. You want to try it out. This is for you. Like, it teaches you the mechanics and what to do and all that fun stuff, that you're usually just thrown into the fire with. And I mean, there's a pretty entertaining story, and that's probably all my pros that I have. I don't know if Robbie B wants me to do cons or if you want to go through cons.
I'm definitely doing cons.
All right, well, I guess he's going to do some cons.
The cons. If you are intermediate or advanced, stay away from it. I promise you, unless you are there to see what it's all about and trying to see the story and the environment, stay out of it. I mean, it is so hand-holding to a point to where you feel like your mom is walking you through the supermarket. It is insanely irritating. The voice acting on certain characters needs some touch-ups, or just mute it, honestly. I feel like a lot of the issues with the area is in regards to the glitches that it has too. There's times where we both have experienced where it'll tell us you need to equip a spell when we've already had it equipped, and it will not stop until you almost have to go into your options and disable it.
I had to.
And that's really, really hurtful towards gameplay, in my opinion. because you don't want to have anything in your line of sight blocked, and you'll see that in this video. The last con for me would be the lack of diversity when it teaches you the dungeon tutorial. That really harms it for me. Now, we are going to explain our indifferences to it, or the parts we care about, don't care about, doesn't matter. Kind of summarizing what our overall experience was.
My overall experience was that it's not made for me. It is definitely made for a beginner player.
Never played the game.
Never.
Virgin to World of Warcraft.
Yeah, like the newest noob you could ever noob. That is the player this is made for. I was actually thinking about bringing my sister over to play this because, it would probably teach her way better than I would. But it's also really annoying, and I don't want to sit through it all over again.
I've already complained about it and made fun of it enough. I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
I see its benefits for brand new, never seen the game, never touched it, never even thought of anything about it. I totally see the potential there. However, me being a more intermediate player, I'm looking at this like this is a nightmare. The scenery is gorgeous. Like, don't get me wrong, they designed a really great area. It's got some bugs, yes. And while I'm thinking about it, there's a new feature that Blizzard had added where it allows you to add 4 more slots in your bag. And the way to activate it is an authenticator. I'm going to say this right now. No, I don't like it. That's not cool. If you wanted to give us more bag slots for this area, you should have just done it. You shouldn't have tacked on that authenticator thing. I am not really pleased with that. But
yeah,
the parts where, like I said, the art indifferences only really comes down to the dungeon. Everything else, we pretty much agree on. Like, I feel like the Horde is less annoying than the Alliance. I will be honest. Like, instead of the son that she's rescuing, it's her daughter. I mean, the differences are so minute, but the voice acting in the Horde does not want to make you blow your brains out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, other than that, I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of what it came to is
A pretty meh experience for us.
I mean, I want to talk about it more, but I feel like we covered everything, and there's not really a ton of...
Yeah, there really isn't. For being a beginner area, there's not much. And, like, you can do all the quests almost within, like, an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if it really even takes that long.
Yeah, I mean, you get to... And you max out at 10, and right after you do...
That's a pro, though.
You max out at 10, but then you never get to go back, which...
It's like, what's the point of it, then?
Yeah, kind of. It's like, thanks for the tutorial, I guess.
Yeah.
But overall, that's our thoughts. Yeah. That's our thoughts and opinions. Stay tuned for more. Of course, as always, Friday we will be bringing you our first lore video. I'm really excited about that. We were going to do something Shadowlands specific, but then we wanted to watch a movie. Hint, hint, hint. What do we cover? Hint. But this has been WoW. It's wow. Robbie B23 signing out.
And MJ, that girl, that go cray. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, comment down below. And don't forget about our contest. Please keep it clean. Keep it at least PG. Maybe 13. You know what I mean?
We're not at church.
We're not at church. All right. Have a great day, guys. Bye.